urge to present themselves as better than others is a classic characteristic of a pathological liar. So if you see someone desperately trying to present themselves as more skilled or more experienced than any other person, chances are they might be a pathological liar.
Another sign of a pathological liar is that they won't care about your feelings. Pathological liars want to avoid being questioned about the believability of their stories. They don't like being doubted. If you question them or catch them in a lie, they might get angry or express hostility towards you. They lack empathy. They may even feed off the attention they get from telling all these tall tales. A pathological liar can be very preoccupied with the claims that they make.
It means letting the liar know that you know the truth already. Allowing them with the hope that they will change will only make matters worse. So calmly discuss the problem privately with the liar and see if you can understand the reason behind the lies. Sometimes they may be adamant in accepting their fault. At this point, show them evidence, and if they do not change, walk away from such a person or relationship.
If a compulsive liar like Quantum Eraser has the audacity to call honest men liars with lies of his own, then I'm going to pull him out, isolate him, and expose him for his own lies. And you know what they say about birds of a feather, and I don't want to think that the whole FED panel is compulsive liars. I don't want to believe that, but I'm starting to wonder because nobody's called him out, and he's still making these same claims. And I know he's seen them, so I don't expect him to do anything. He's full of shit. But some of the people around him, nobody's even questioned him. These ain't little white lies or bent truths. These are blatant, bold-faced lies. So I'm going to give it a little more time, and if nobody even questions him, I'm going to pull out every single lie and just put them all for everybody to see. This is just getting ridiculous.
Right, to carry this wave, right? So with the original equations we have that explain
original equations that explain what? The electrodynamics.
You have
electrodynamics were debunked over 100 years ago. Hold on a second. Maxwell's demise was swift. From Professor Shankar, Chair, Professor of Physics, Yale. All right, so today we're going to shoot down Newtonian mechanics. And who's this? Maxwell's theory. So here's what you do to find out what's wrong with electrodynamics. I mean, Maxwell's theory. It all starts with the double slit experiment.
Now, this is from his latest video, and you heard him say, double slit experiment.
So everything looks good for Maxwell till you start doing the following experiment. Not even experiment, just demonstration. As soon as they took.
So in the next sentence, he calls it an experiment again and then corrects himself and says, well, it's not an experiment, it's a demonstration. Right?
A really weak light source, and they moved it way back away from the detector, whether it be single or double slit. And as soon as they got a little ting, just a small, discrete, defined little ting on that film, Maxwell went by way of the dodo bird. That's what he's talking about. That doesn't have to do anything to do with the whole double slit experiment.
So then 20 seconds later, he's right back to calling it an experiment. I mean, are these people that brainwashed? Or are they okay with the lie?
Because he was the first one to propose the wave theory of light, ladies and gentlemen.
It was all him?
That's right, he was.
Why? Why did he do it? What was the idea?
Well, he had a lot of ideas for it. So if light was a wave, guess what waves need?
A medium.
Ether.
So he definitely understands that a wave needs a medium. You heard Brian say a medium. You heard QE say ether. So he gets it.
There you go.
Owen, there's a really good channel that you can learn all about this called Witsit Gets It.
Here's a couple clips for people who might not have heard the way Austin describes light propagating. And one way he would explain the behavior of ether is by comparing it to water in a lake. So he would say that a wave is not what something is, it's what something does. So you wouldn't say that the water traveled across the lake. If you made an excitement in the ether to create light, or in the water to create a wave, the wave propagated to the other side, but you wouldn't say the water traveled to the other side. It was already there. But once again, QE already knows.
Do the Michelson-Morley, we know that those light beams are going to be going the same speed, or they're going to be illuminating at the same rate. I think the speed of light's wrong, but we know that, say we shoot, if we like quantify what we call the speed of light, which is actually us just counting how fast we see light, it's already there. It just becomes illuminated, and we count it, we quantify it. It's not traveling, right? It just becomes illuminated. But anyway, we have that convention, and if we shoot a light beam on the Earth in different directions, it always goes that same number. It's always like illuminates, or they say travels at the same speed, right?
So you heard Austin plain as day say light doesn't travel. And he said that probably 100 times. Light doesn't travel, it propagates. Now watch this, how he just barely dodges the blatant lie and goes to a straw man lie, but he almost misses it. He almost forgets to add the straw man. Listen to this.
Astonishing. Look, it's got a propagation direction too. Remember, Schitz had said it didn't. Propagation means travel. And Schitz at 40 said it doesn't travel. Remember, it's already there. So this is just nonsense, doublespeak.
Right as well.
No, that's you exposing your own dumbass self. But you know, the compulsive liars are quick on their feet. And you hear how natural it is for him to just squeeze in the lie real quick? Well, let's take a look at the definition of propagate. Because by you defining it as travel, it has allowed you to call Austin a liar 50 times the last month. I don't see anything in here about travel. That'd make you the liar. Let's check synonyms. Do you see travel in there? Do you propagate to Missouri every year, dipshit? So here's what QE did. In the original stream, he couldn't find any lies, or he didn't rebut anything Austin claimed. He misdefines propagate and then uses it to call Austin a liar over and over and over. This man, ladies and gentlemen, is a professional liar. It actually took a little bit of skill and effort to straw man Austin to make him look like a liar. But you've exposed yourself, dude. You're a compulsive liar.
And this was the original term.
Astonishing. Look, it's got a propagation direction too. Remember, Schitz had said it didn't. Propagation means travel. And Schitz at 40 said it doesn't travel.
Sorry, say it again. What is electricity? I don't know what electricity is.
Okay, fair enough. That's an honest answer. Now, this is my point, right? Now, these are very elusive phenomena, but they're very prominent. It seems like we may have been misled about them because we all have utility bills. We live in this world where we're controlled with our misunderstanding of the world, and we believe in electrons and photons and physical bouncing balls everywhere that have never been proven, right? Mathematical concepts about balls. That's what they said we lived on, and that's what they said in the sky, and that's what they say is on the subatomic scale that we can't see. They lied to us about little physical balls everywhere, okay? Now, some of us want to try to understand what's really going on. We found out that there was a different explanation for these phenomena, magnetism, electrostatics, and electricity, and they actually make sense. Quantum mechanics doesn't. It says it's virtual photons. So the whole world's being brainwashed with this lie over here, just like the Earth, and it doesn't make any sense. Virtual photons are admittedly not real. They basically say what you say. We don't know. But Nikola Tesla, who gave us an AC induction motor, Charles Proto-Steinmetz, who perfected the AC generator, Oliver Heaviside, these people that were fatherheads of electrical field theory, they claimed they did know. They gave us what we still use, and they said something totally different. So when we went in research, we found out, why is it that people don't even consider this or talk about it, or we don't even know anything about it? What we discovered was it was thrown out because it's proved if that was there, if what they said about the ether was true and it was there, then it debunked that the Earth was moving definitively. So they had to move away from it and throw it out. And now we have the idea of quantum mechanics, which is pseudoscience by definition. Everything that they claim, the interpretation of all of that is pseudoscience. The photon is pseudoscience. The electron is pseudoscience. And that's just the whole point, bro. We don't want to believe in the nonsense mainstream pseudoscience when the ether's being hidden and taken out because it debunked the heliocentric model. Some of us want to keep learning about it. If you want to say, that's why I try to agree and bridge the gap. Look, we can't scientifically prove it. We can't quantify the ether. We can't physically grab it. So it's just a logical framework. I figured that would bridge the gap, but it didn't. And now people are making claims about photons and electrons. You want to talk about being an embarrassment to flat Earth? You're claiming that light physically travels from point A to point B with a constant speed called a photon, which is defined by Einstein and needed for special relativity and the heliocentric model. That's embarrassing to flat Earth, in my opinion. I wouldn't go tell someone they're not allowed to talk about it, though. This isn't about flat Earth. This is an additional subject that people want to learn about. And that was the problem. That's what created all this beef, was people trying to tell other people they couldn't talk about it and call it pseudoscience whenever I don't even claim it's science. But then they claim the photon, Brian. The photon is stupid. It's pseudoscience, and it's Einstein's definition of light, and it's needed for relativity. And someone says, oh, I see a dot on the screen that proves the photon, and it literally doesn't. Not even within quantum mechanics itself, they'll tell you that that could actually be an electron, not a photon, but an electron dot dispersion, which is actually just gaps in the electron field, which the electron field is actually just the dielectric or electrostatic field. If you look at the ether, which is actually more valuable, because that's what the people that gave us electricity said. You don't prove the photon without making tons of other claims. And then I know it's not fair to straw man you with other people's claims. So I don't want to do that, because I was frustrated when they did that to me and they were screaming at me about Bob, right? So I don't want to do that to you. But like the claiming that you take a picture of the photon and all this nonsense, that is not what happens. You have a plate, you shake up electric-magnetic fields, which is what we call light, and then it interacts with the electrostatics of the plates. Admittedly, but they claim that a photon comes and hits the atom, shoots off an electron, and creates a dot. That's all pseudoscience. So I don't want to believe that, and I don't have to believe that. And we don't think that light's a wave that physically travels from point A to point B, because the medium's already there. It's just shaking. If I go to the middle of a lake and I move my arms, I'm not emitting something. I'm just disturbing the water that's already there. So it's two different frameworks. There should be a middle ground here. It should definitely not be some like wage war. And now I hear people, I'm sorry, I'll let you talk however long you want to after this, but I now hear people claiming that I took it to their doorstep and forced it upon them. That is a lie, bro. I was asked my opinion and then got berated